Tragedy in South Korea. Over 150 dead during Halloween celebrations. And on the second home visa front, more blowback from expats in the tourist industry. Stay tuned for details. Selamat siang. Welcome to the latest news from Bali and Indonesia. This is October 31st, 2022, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today? Little overcast, a little hazy, hot, 30.7 degrees Celsius, humidity 73% in Kampung Bugis, and the wind speed is 8.7 kilometers per hour. Not the best day, but not too bad. What are the numbers like? The numbers are here, they're online again, but I just can't read them. I did make out that Bali is still in double digits, and overall in Indonesia we are still in 4 digits, so that's good news. Unfortunately, I could read the weekly positivity rate, which is up to 10.35%, and the daily positivity rate, yesterday, 15.81%. So what is this about? And there is a sickness going through Kampung Bugis and I guess in Singaraja. My granddaughter, my son, and my wife have come down with high fevers, coughing and sore throats and muscle pains all of a sudden. And when my wife went to the doctor last night, she said it was packed. So what is that? I don't know, but I'm waiting to see. And Grandpa is still well, fortunately, because somebody's got to keep things running here. Okay, let's take a look at the main stories. Seoul mourns 153 deaths after Halloween stampede. President Jokowi has joined a list of world leaders to offer his condolences to South Korea following the deaths of more than 150 people during a stampede at a Halloween event in Itaewon in Seoul. According to AFP report, the crowd surge and crush hit the capital's popular Itaewon district, where police estimate as many as 100,000 people, mostly in their teens and 20s, went to celebrate Halloween on Saturday night, clogging the area's narrow alleyways and winding streets. Korean authorities said yesterday that at least 153 people have died and 134 more were injured, prompting South Korean President Yoon to declare a period of national mourning on Sunday. Among the 153 victims, 20 are thought to be foreign nationals, including those from the United States, Uzbekistan, Austria, Norway, Vietnam, Kazakhstan, Iran, and Sri Lanka. Russia said that 3 of its nationals had died as well. Indonesia's foreign ministry spokesperson said 2 Indonesians were injured, but at this point, none are listed as having died. The incident, which ranks among Korea's worst disasters, has sparked an outpouring of grief from world leaders, including Japan, China, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, the US, and China. South Korean officials said they have no clear idea of what caused the crush, while eyewitnesses described being trapped in narrow sloping alleyways and scrambling to get out of the suffocating crowd as people piled on top of one another, similar to what happened here just weeks ago in Malang. As questions began to emerge over the lack of security at the event, Interior Minister Lee told the briefing that a police force had been occupied on the other side of town because of a planned demonstration. Also, he said, police had not expected such a large crowd at the Halloween event. The expected size of the crowd in Itaewon did not deviate much from previous years, he said, so I understand that personnel were deployed at a similar scale as before. And in Jakarta on Sunday, the Jakarta police called off the last day of a 3-day music festival held in Senayan, citing safety concerns amid reports of an overpacked crowd during the festival's first 2 days. And in Japan, security was extremely tight for their Halloween celebrations. What else is there to say about this? My condolences to my friends and students from Korea. And let's get on to something less sad, but difficult nonetheless. Expats cautiously welcome second home visa. This is an interesting title for this article. Married couples of mixed Indonesian and non-Indonesian citizenship have welcomed the government's second home stay permit, which will allow foreigners to live in the country for up to 10 years under specific circumstances, but they worry that the new policy could bring prohibited costs for existing visa holders. I'm not going to go over the official details of this. If you want to find out, take a look at the last video. It's linked up here. Government officials have said that the second home visa is intended to boost the country's economy through its tourism sector. However, the expat community has different ideas about this. Indonesia Mixed Marriage Association head Analia Trisna said the program could make life harder for older foreigners already in the country under the existing temporary stay permit KITAS or the permanent stay permit KITAP. This, she explained, was because the second home program required existing elderly KITAS and KITAP holders to transition to a second home permit within 3 months and to provide proof of 2 billion rupiahs in personal funds held in an Indonesian bank. Analia called on the government to carve out exemptions for existing KITAS and KITAP holders who may not have the requisite funds, which are probably very many. She said, for people looking to invest in the country, 2 billion rupiahs might be fine, but not for senior foreigners already in the country. It feels like an injustice for them to also be required to join the second home program unless they are given exemptions. Law and Human Rights Ministry Acting Director General for Immigration Widodo said that the program is intended to make Indonesia an attractive destination for foreigners in hopes of spurring economic development. Interesting, since there may be mass exodus of senior citizens. He added that the program was primarily aimed at well-off foreigners who are looking to retire in Bali or other popular tourist destinations in the country. While Widodo has said that foreigners on second home permit would be allowed to invest in the country, it remains unclear in exactly what they can invest and how they will be taxed. State officials had previously hoped to capitalize on pandemic-induced work from anywhere trend by preparing a digital nomad visa, which is still not out, despite reports that it is. The B211 is not a digital visa. It's the B211, which has been here for a long time. Bali Tourism Board expects foreign arrivals in Bali to reach pre-pandemic levels of 6 million a year by 2025, according to Reuters. If we take a look at Malaysia's My Second Home program, they have changed their requirements. They've gone from a requirement of 10,000 ringgit per month income for people getting this visa to 40,000. What is that current exchange rate? Around a little more than 8,000 US dollars a month. That's what you're going to need to qualify for this. Additionally, you will need to have 1.5 million ringgit in capital when you apply, and after you're accepted, you will need to have 1 million ringgit. So, not cheap. So I've been talking to expat friends of mine. What are they going to do? They're looking around different places. Some Americans looking at Central America, South America. Some Australians looking at some of the other Southeast Asian countries, the Philippines, Thailand. So, good news in that the Mixed Marriage Association's gotten involved in this and has called for this. Also, the Bali Hotel Tourism Association has also said that they don't see the second home visa as being practical at this point. And so, is the government going to move back on this and make some modifications, some changes, some exceptions? No telling. Like I said in the last video, my opinion is yes, they will. That's just my opinion, though. In the meantime, if you are a person who is on a retirement visa, or if you are planning to get a retirement visa, hang in there. Remember, Indonesia, sabar, patience. Things may get better soon. Let's hope so anyway. And a short G20 report. Biden has no intention to sit down with Putin in Bali, according to the White House. So, President Biden from the United States is planning on being here. He's going to be here for 3 days, I guess. And the White House has said he does not plan on meeting with Putin if Putin shows up. And according to Russia, that is not guaranteed at this point. Putin said on Thursday he had not decided whether to attend or not, but he said if he did not attend, he said he would send a high-level Russian delegation in his place. And Xi Jinping will be here as well most likely. And will Biden meet with him? No word on that from the White House or from Beijing. And so lots of intrigue going on before the G20 starts. And we're only a few weeks away, folks. And while the pandemic seems to not interest anybody here anymore, in Indonesia we have something new now. There's always something new. Cases of acute kidney failure in Indonesia increase. 58% have died. Indonesia's health ministry announced on the 26th of October that the number of cases of acute kidney failure had reached 269 patients. 58% or 157 of those patients have died. Meanwhile, 24% or 73 patients are still in treatment and 39% or 14 have been declared cured. The ministry spokesperson said 11% of the 269 cases categorized as stage 1, 7% stage 2, 61% stage 3, and 20% had not been identified. The Indonesian government continues to carry out surveillance to look for the possibility of other patients with acute kidney failure who have not been recorded yet. Indonesia has seen a surge of cases reported for kidney problems from people who have consumed syrup medicines contaminated with the hazardous chemicals ethylene glycol, diethylene glycol, ethylene glycol butyl ether, so EG, DEG, and EGBE, and the health ministry has revoked the permits of more than 1,000 drugs containing solvents suspected to contain EG, DEG, or EGBE. The Food and Drug Supervisory Agency in Indonesia, BPOM, has announced the types and brands of 5 syrup medicines said to contain these chemicals above the safe threshold, and they are Thermorex syrup, fever medicine, Fluorin DMP syrup for cough and flu, Unibibi cough syrup, cough and flu, Unibibi fever syrup for fever, Unibibi fever drops for fever. And those have all been taken off the shelves. If you've been going into supermarkets or into the mini markets lately, you may have noticed that a lot of these are gone. They should be gone. And we are not using syrups of any kind at this point. And that is it for today. No word yet from the hospital on when I'm going to have the operation for the cataracts. And so I'm just kind of hanging around here in the house with 3 really sick people and a half-blind old guy taking care of them. And that is the situation here these days. Once again, my condolences to the people of South Korea. And if you are in Bali, I hope you're having a great time. The weather seems to have picked up. And thanks, Tony and Sarah, for visiting. We had a great time. Zoe especially loved meeting friends of mine who are younger than senior citizens. And Frankie had a good time yesterday. Hope to see you soon. Be careful on your travels. Thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe, and I will see you on Thursday.